Welcome back. Former President Trump will meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago later today. This happening one day after Bibi met separately with President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris at the White House. A large, chaotic anti-Israel protest happening just across the street from those meetings yesterday. The Republican Jewish coalition warning that Harris would be a, quote, far worse partner for Israel than Biden has been, saying it took her a full day to issue a weak condemnation of the pro-Hamas mobs that burned American flags during the Wednesday protests. Harris said, "I condemn any individuals associated with the brutal terrorist organization Hamas." She went on to say, "I condemn the burning of the American flag. It should never be desecrated that way." Joining me now is former Deputy National Security Advisor and American Conservative Union board member, KT McFarland. KT, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Let's start with Netanyahu and that total snub. Kamala Harris did not even attend his comments to Congress this week, but then met with him privately. Your reaction to everything that has played out here?
You know, the contrast between Bibi Netanyahu going to Congress and making an impassioned and very articulate plea for the survival of the state of Israel and asking the United States for the weapons Israel needs to defend itself by itself, and yet outside and I don't think these are demonstrators, these are rioters. I mean, they were defacing public property, they were pulling down the American flag, they were putting up, you know, the Palestinian flag, they were saying Hamas is coming, they were chanting death to America, kill the Jews. And the fact that the vice president, who had a constitutional responsibility to be in that chamber with the speech, she didn't even show up, she snubbed him. It's not just the signal that she's sending to America. That's the signal she wants to send to the Muslim voters in Michigan and Minnesota, her two-state solution, to get their support for the election. But it's the signal that she's sending to Iran, because Iran is behind all of this. And when Iran sees that she is going to be even further to the left, even further separated from Israel than the Biden administration has been, I mean, that's a green light for them to do whatever you want.
Well, I mean, at this point, 100 days before Election Day, 102 days before Election Day, KT, it feels like everything is political out of this White House. I mean, yesterday, the Vice President, Kamala Harris, joined TikTok. We know that the Chinese Communist Party is in charge of TikTok because of the rules in China that everything you have to give to the CCP if they ask. But the social media app exploded with memes. We are guessing these memes are pushed by the CCP. So all of a sudden, now that the Communist China government understand that this is likely the presidential candidate for the Democrats, they're just ramping up all the propaganda around her, saying how great her performance has been as VP. Here's what Harris said in her first video on TikTok yesterday. Watch.
Madam Vice President, are you on TikTok?
Well, I've heard that recently I've been on the For You page, so I thought I'd get on here myself.
So what do you think? Chinese media, state media, earlier in the week called Harris mediocre, claiming that she lacks the experience to serve as president. But KT, now it's all about a rewriting of Kamala's performance as VP. What would you expect China policy to look like under a potential Harris presidency?
Well, I mean, she's going to give China everything that Joe Biden did. It's just that she's not going to be bribed for it. She won't stand up to China. It's all about, to stand up to China, it means you have to understand what Donald Trump understood, which is China needs to sell to us more than we need to buy from them. So you can use tariffs, you can use China trade to really have a negotiation to have China do things that they may otherwise not want to do. The problem with this all is as you point out, 100 days till the election, and then they're 3 months after that before a new president is sworn in. China, Russia, Iran, even North Korea, they're all looking at this moment of maximum vulnerability and confusion in Washington, D.C. And for them, this is their moment of opportunity. This is like a wide open window of opportunity. And they know if Donald Trump is elected president, that window slams shut in January. So they're all pushing the outside of the envelope. So China's doing it. Iran is doing it. Iran declaring that it's going to probably have nuclear weapons in 2 weeks. Secretary of State Blinken confirming it. China, Russia flying nuclear-capable aircraft right up to the Alaskan border. They're all pushing to get what they can while they can.
Yeah, I mean, that was really interesting, the U.S. intercepting those 2 Chinese and 2 Russian strategic bombers off the coast of Alaska on Wednesday. That was less than an hour before President Biden's Oval Office address on his decision to drop out of the election. It marks the first time American adversaries have flown strategic bombers together near North America. So I want to get your take on how serious this is. Fox News White House correspondent Peter Doocy grilled the administration on this yesterday. Here's what they said. Watch.
Russia and China are teaming up in the skies near Alaska for the first time ever. Are you getting a sense yet, based on everything that's been going on, that some of America's enemies might be looking at what's happening here and think there's nobody in charge?
There is very much someone in charge. The president is the president until the end of his term. So that statement is certainly false, and we have seen the president bring together our allies and partners. He reinvigorated NATO. He got more than 50 countries behind Ukraine to make sure that they were able to defend themselves against Putin. He stood up to Putin.
So what about that? And I don't know when he stood up to Putin, what she's saying there, and I know he hasn't stood up to Xi Jinping. KT, your reaction?
Well, I don't know. Why is anybody even listen? What credibility does she have left? I mean, what, a week ago, she was saying Joe Biden is hale and hearty and he's going to run for re-election. And then here's the about face. Look, China and Russia are emboldened. Russia and Iran have been made rich by the Biden administration. They were bankrupt during President Trump's administration. Russia couldn't invade. It didn't have the money to invade Ukraine. Iran didn't have the money to have the proxies go after Israel. And now they've all been emboldened. They've all taken advantage of the situation. And my worry, Maria, is in the next couple of months, they're going to take even more advantage of the situation, knowing that they'll get no response, no pushback from the Biden administration.
Yeah, and you would think that she would want to choose a running mate who has foreign affairs strength. We don't know who that running mate could be. I mean, it could be Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, because I think what they're looking at in terms of a running mate is who's going to help them win another state. Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, Mark Kelly in Arizona, North Carolina Governor Cooper. So, it could be that she makes this pick next week. This is going to be the next catalyst. But Biden's cabinet is defending Kamala Harris's foreign policy abilities. Here's Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin this week. Watch this, KT.
It very much is her forte because, as I said, I've seen her not only around the world, but I've seen her on the most critical foreign policy questions of our time.
She's represented this country in the international arena, on the international stage, a number of times. She's met with key leaders around the globe. She even met with President Xi. She understands, national security, international affairs.
What do you think, KT?
These are the same guys that a week ago were saying Joe Biden was a really astute. He was on the job. Why did they say that? They wanted to keep their jobs. Why are they doing this right now? They want to keep their jobs in a potential Harris administration. This is like taking their CV and flapping it in the breeze, saying, see, I'm really loyal. I'll be loyal to you. Give me that job.
Wow. All right, KT. God help us. I don't know who's running this country at this point. Biden's talking about what he's doing in the moonshot, and he's going to continue with the student debt. He comes up with all the things he's going to be doing now that he's not running for president. Kamala's on a campaign. So who's behind the wheel?
And that's the worry. And our adversaries see that. And the worry is, it's funny, ha-ha, but what's not funny is that they're all looking at this and they're all pushing to see what they can get away with while there's nobody in charge in Washington.
Very scary stuff. KT, thank you. We will continue to follow the story and talk with you along the way. We'll see you soon. KT McFarland. Quick break, and then where everybody goes to build up their dreams.